Woo. Yo, 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 yo. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? It's Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, TBKC, and all that sweet, beautiful, wonderful shit. Now, where do I begin? I'm gonna tell y'all a story. True story. Hey, remember that? They used to do that on the real world. True story. Look, y'all want to know how we got here. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. Some people gonna get offended, people talk shit, but I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. There's some characters in this story. But this shit goes back, way back. Way back. The ABKC, it had a flow to it. Originally, you had the Elite Edge owning it, which I was a part of. We pushed the hell out of that thing. I told y'all, man, I spent damn near 40 grand on the first show just bringing in Buffy the Body and all kind of models and everything. We tried to set it off, man. And, it wasn't the greatest of shows, but it's legendary still because it was the first big show, bringing back the bullies in Virginia. We had our crew, and of course, as anything goes, when you bring a lot of people together, you got a lot of characters, you got a lot of characteristics. You got some people who for the right thing, you got other people who get caught up in the glitz and the glamour, and you got some people who was never right from the get-go. So we'll go back. The ABKC was originally going to be ran by the twins, Adrian and Alfredo, and it was of course I've been out there. It was out of their house, and there was some issues, which seems to happen with damn near all registries once they get started. Couldn't get the paperwork out, I don't know the logistics of it. I won't sit here and lie to y'all. I just know that the twins got fed up pretty much with the other members on how this thing was going. Maybe it was a lack of support or whatever, but eventually, it moved over to Holiday, God rest his soul. And what Holiday did for the ABKC was he sort of got everything to where the paperwork was going out. He got things a lot more organized. Now, claims, I don't know, but it was claims that it was hard to keep points at that time. But he did his thing, And really, this is a part of the chapter where a lot of the issues began. Because in this thing, Holiday was about the right thing. Holiday invested a lot of his time, his money, before he got sick. Let's just say that, and he couldn't do it anymore. And unfortunately, he passed a few years back. And in his time, he really did push the ABKC forward before it went back to Virginia with Dave and them. Unfortunately, hard feelings were made because Holiday was a well-respected man out there in California. Had a lot of people who loved him. A lot of people care about him. He was just a good guy. And, no short story to it. Dave Wilson pretty much screwed him over, It was one of the reasons right now that Dave Wilson ain't too much welcome in California. He told a lie and told everybody that when he was questioned about it, that he paid Holiday, 50 to 60 grand. I don't know the exact number that he owed the man. And not only that he was sending money and looking out for him and everything. And the man's wife came out and said he never sent us a dime, never checked on him when he was obviously, knowing that this man was going to pass. And he just basically took his work from the ABKC and kept carrying on and basically said, screw the man. Now, no matter how much Lion Dave has to say, the truth of the matter is this man's wife came front and center and said, no, you never paid anything, and challenged Dave, show me a receipt. And as far as you talking about you took care of our family and you looked out for us, she said, I never even seen you. I didn't even know you knew I didn't even know you knew he died. That's what she said. So y'all could see this is a business, but at the same time, everybody was a close-knit family. So you start to see how cutthroat the thing is. So once it goes back to Virginia, it gets a little bit better. It gets a lot better because the infrastructure, Deanna is a beast. Deanna is Dave Wilson's woman. And she a beast. She takes care of office work like nobody's business. She really got that thing taken off to where, you know, the shows picked up, paperwork kept on going, probably even going even faster because they had the office and everything was set up lovely. And, you know, champions was being crowned. It was a beautiful thing. But, you know, in this process, of course, you know, there was still that lingering thing there, you know, to how things was done. And, you know, coming up more towards, let's say, you know, the 2014 era, let's say 2011, 12, this is the extreme era. Let's just even go a little bit further back to where you start seeing, let's say, around 09, 10, 11, where you started to see where they made those tragic mistakes of having the extreme class, and they tried to basically, you know, bring Ed Shepherd in like he was going to be one of their flunkies, make a whole extreme class and have Ed Shepherd as a judge and everything. And they end up hating Ed Shepherd because Ed Shepherd used the ABKC. They got Dax real popular, and y'all know how I feel about Dax. The dog was just a train wreck. But the ABKC, once again, showing their true nature, they said, you know, screw it. We going to do what we do. We going to make him a grand champion. We going to blow him up. This going to push the ABKC even further. Well, Slick Ed, boop, he pulls the Dax shit up out of there, starts his own thing, and then that's when you, if y'all ever heard where Dave, like, try to, you know, take little shots at, well, now he won't do it because Mr. Shepherd is dead, God rest his soul. But that's sort of where that come about. And this is shortly after the thing, you know, of them getting back to Virginia, because to be honest, I don't think Holiday would have ever went that route because he was a true dog, man. And he was, you know, he was about the real American bully. So this is Dave's first little thing he did that a lot of people didn't like, which later on he took back. But in that mix, you know, that was the first thing. I was the one who talked to Dave, and I talked to him. We used to get along. We were still getting along at this time, you know. I was the one who tried to broker the deal between my guy Danny in Rhode Island, who owned Mr. Miyagi's brother, to get the DNA testing for Miyagi. George refused. This was the time when they said Miyagi would never be allowed into the registry. This is all around the same time. You know, at that time, Dave just put the 100% ban on Miyagi. Then, you know, I talked to him about the extreme class and told him it was screwed up to have a class of that you was allowing a bunch of screwed up dogs into. You know, you could have high rears, bad feet, bad bites. You could have bad everything in the extreme class. And he, you know, and a lot of other people was beating on him about that. And I was like, man, just get rid of it. And he agreed, and that's why it's no longer an extreme class. So, you know, at that time, the bad part of the discussion was, what do you do with the extreme dogs? And I told him, you know, it would have been a hefty move, but it would have been the righteous move to say, you know what? We'll let the judges look at you. If you was an extreme dog that could qualify as a champion in any of the other classes, cool. If not, we're going to have to pull your papers. Well, Dave didn't want to do that because there was so much money out there. You know, all those Dax kids was just, it was, you know, Dax, 4,000 puppies or whatever, man. Dax was bringing that money. Y'all, you know, you think about 4,000 puppies and then by itself, 4,000 puppies by itself, man, 80 grand. Now you take the kids, Dax was $1 million industry for the ABKC himself. You know what I mean? That Dax line, because they don't do nothing but breed. Even if you disagree with the dog after you sold your soul is soul food, because this is checks coming in left and right. It's similar to what the UKC did when they booted Dax up out of there and banned Ed Shepherd, but they found a way to maneuver around and say, hey, we're going to keep some of this money coming in. That's when they start messing with the American bully. That's a whole different video. We'll do that another day. But, you know, this time it got heavy right here. Because around this same time, I've done a video about Cruz from Bow Wow Pits and his influence, not only just with the ABKC, but in the whole American bully community. Like I say, me and Cruz don't even get along, but I never, if you're gonna be real, you gotta be real. You can never try to take credit away from a man. The man deserved to be on the same Mount Rushmore that Dave is when it comes to these American bullies. He did his thing. He was a lot of the brains and the money and the influence behind a lot of moves that got made in this game. So we fast forward. At this time, Cruz, which I originally was one of the owners of Blow Jeans, but then I jumped out. They owned Blow Jeans. They had bought into Atomic Dog magazine and the ABKC, Cruz and Dave. Of course there were other owners, but these was the big owners in these different things. You know what I mean? They were, let me not say percentages, but they were owners in those things, and they were big owners in the ABKC. Let's put it that way. I don't want to tell no lies. Well, like I said, things got a little bit leery, you know what I mean, between them two. I never really truly understood. They said it started with the fight. It was a fight out in California, you know what I'm saying, where, another former Elite Edge member got into it with Cruz at the fight. The whole Ukanuba, got into it with Cruz at the show. The whole Ukanuba contract was just lost. They claim that Dave jumped over a table and ran up out of the place. Look, it ain't no claim. Dave told me. He was like, what was I supposed to do, man? You got two big ass gangs and people fighting. And what was I gonna do? These cats was real. So he said he didn't jump over the table, but he admitted to running. Other witnesses said Dave hopped the table and got the fuck up out of there, like Jackie Joyner Kersey in the in the '92 Olympics. Boom, I'm out. Yeah, excuse me. I gotta keep my whistle wet. But I believe that relationship started to fall apart at that time. Now, and I just say that because I know Cruz is a real dude, you know what I mean? He a real dude out there, and that kind of disloyalty when you're supposed to be his dog and you run in the middle of a fight, I think I could see that having a hard time for them two getting back together on that. Real talk. You know what I mean? Go ahead. If we're going to all get knocked out, we're going to all get knocked out, or if we're going to knock some up, we're going to knock them out, But and that's just that's how him and his folks roll. So you run, I can see how that's like, dog, I can't fuck with you. So anyway, Dave is blowing me up left and right because, some of y'all know how I was back in the day. So, he asking me like, bro, what's up? Do you think that he gonna do, speaking on Cruz, he like, you think he gonna do something to me and this, that, and the other? So, finally I'm just like, what's going on here, Dave? Because you a little bit shook up and this ain't just about the fight. So he breaks to me. He said, look, I did some shit, and I basically stole Cruz's portion of the ABKC. I said, I'm like, you did what? He said, yeah, well, he fucked me out of the my Blow Jeans stock or whatever. Not stock, but my portion of Blow Jeans. He fucked me out of Atomic Dog magazine. So I did the same thing to him with the ABKC. But see, if y'all follow me, this is like saying, okay, you got me for $5 here, you got me for $5 there, I'm gonna hit you for $5 million over here. It don't add up. Blow Jeans ain't never really took off. You know what I mean? It was a great concept. It never took off. Atomic Dog magazine had its run, but the run was over. You know what I mean? It was obvious that the magazine was more of a cultural icon than it was a profitable business. The ABKC, on the other hand, is a multi-million-dollar business. And you cut this man out. So some of y'all know this from listening to Bobby Dean shows and the old D-Line shows and stuff. It was heated, you know what I mean? 2014 Nationals was where this shit was really coming to a head. So, Dave basically calls me and enlists me and some of my homies to come through there. And we really wasn't trying to beef. We just like, man, if anything go down, we don't want the Nationals to get tore up. We don't want to see Dave leaking. We just going to try to be more of a barrier like, yo, man, don't fuck with dude. Come on now. And my cats to get down, so it wasn't nothing. We get there, Dave got a damn bodyguard that looked like Billy Blanks. Sean Jackson walk up to me, his little buddy Sean Jackson. He walk up to me. Sean, if y'all don't know him, Sean really like cute and cuddly. He a cool ass dude, but he just always smiling, man. So it's hard to take him serious because he's so funny. But you know, Sean like touch my hip. Now Sean got the damn pistol inside the place. So all of this is getting crazy about this money, right? That's what it's really about, you know. Let's not, you know. It's not whatever, you know. So, you know, of course, you know, it's so wild that at this time you got one Elite Edge, then you got, I think, the Elite Edge exclusive or something like that. It was another version of the Elite Edge. This shit was weird as hell. It was 2 Elite Edges. Cruz hate Dave. Dave, it's so much tension in the building. That's to show the Sweet and Low won. It was a wild event. Let's just put it that way. So, man, after all this bullshit go down, and nothing happens at this show, but it was a lot of talk about Bashar at this show. And Bashar was VIP and this, that, and the other. And y'all know when I show up at events, everybody want to talk to me, take pictures with me. I appreciate y'all, by the way. But, you know, they want to tell me everything because they know, you know, where I stand at, you know, with the community and everybody. So, you know, I get a lot of inside information. But more and more, it's like, hey, Dave is, you know what I'm saying, is Bashar's boy, you know. That's why he, you know, that's his boy. He, you know, and Bashar had a bodyguard. It was weird. That just clicked in my brain. But what happened from this point on was something that I'm gonna tell y'all. This what happened. Dave, I'm gonna tell you like that. This is my theory, but I got good information behind this theory from some good sources. Neither one of these two parties told me this, and I want to be clear on that. But I seen some things go down. I know some things, and then I'm gonna tell y'all some other things. Now, Dave told me out his own mouth that he felt like he might be in some serious trouble if he didn't take care of Cruz, if he didn't get him his money. That's what he said. He was like, this is a legit business. And I told him, I said, this is legit business, man. This ain't no street shit. You know what I mean? You just robbed a man. I don't know what kind of shiesty shit you did on that paperwork, but you just robbed a man, you know, of a very successful business. With that being said, you know, he's telling me, oh, you know, he after trying to explain why he did it so many damn times, he tells me, he says, look, I got somebody who can make this right. He said, I got somebody that can make it right, T. You know, he's like, do you think, you know, that I should take on another partner? I got somebody who can make it right. And I'm like, well, if y'all making money, man, why don't you just set up a payment plan with dude and break dude off, you know, that way. So he like, I got somebody. I'm going to tell y'all like this. Over the next 2 to 3 years, all you saw was muscle tone, muscle tone, muscle tone, muscle tone. Magoo had already been pretty popular at that time. But then he made the big sell of Magoo. Magoo had already been popular, but he made the big sell of Magoo. Then we saw Mr. Beans come in the ring. And everybody who saw Mr. Beans, I remember Donald Holmes, you had all kind of OG judges that was just like, man, that dog shouldn't be winning those shows, man. What's going on? But he would win. You would see Bashar, it's video of that, where he went in the ring and the dog was literally rolling over on his back, refused to do anything. Now, keep it in mind, I'm a judge, man. I judge everywhere. I'm judged all around the world. Still going to be judged as soon as Rona let me. And I'm going to tell you like this. If I see you talking to somebody outside, that's illegal. You're not, as your handler, as a handler, you're not supposed to be talking to people outside the ring. That gives you an unfair advantage because they're giving you a different perspective. Like, hey, fix the dog's legs, fix this. No, that's why everything's in the ring. Well, they allowed this man to come in the ring, take the dog in his wife beater and his skinny jeans, walk the dog around the ring. They gave him a first place ribbon. He took the dog from the handler. That's an automatic disqualification. The dog flopping around on his back it ain't in the books, but that's in the books. That dog ain't supposed to win. He ain't performing. He don't want to be here. But they let him take the dog, walk him around. Boom. There you go. You know, and I'm just giving y'all examples of the shit that we done seen from this guy. Mr. Bean's train wreck type of dog, couldn't breathe, couldn't whatever. They put a cape on the dog in the ring, in the same ring that he was in there with Nationals champion Sweet and Low, one of the baddest bitches ever walking. They let him win. Y'all starting to notice something. No matter what it was, they let these dogs win. Now, you know, it got so heavy and the conversation got so heavy, you know, that they start talking about the dog that Dave Wilson owns that comes from Bashar, which was Demon Boy. Now, you know, they like, oh, you know, people was making accusations like Bashar paying you, and this, that, and the other. Well, Bashar come out his mouth and, you know, he can be arrogant, but he says, yeah, I own the stud rights to the dog. So Dave was in business with him. But that wasn't the only business, because more and more people start speculating that Bashar had bailed him out. Now, y'all follow me on this, because this ain't just me making up no accusations. I got good sources. But this was one of the most damaging things about this. It got a little bit heated, and Bashar out of his own mouth said, yeah, I own some of that ABKC. You know, I never tell y'all what I own or how much I own. But yeah, I'll leave y'all thinking on that. Yeah, I might own the whole thing. This is what he said. Now, I'm going to take y'all to this level. I had conversations. I know for a fact Bashar has registered about a dozen litters where the bitches was under a year. He's also registered multiple litters to the same bitch within a 3-month span. He's also been heard talking ringside to a very, very famous boxer, telling him what his dog was going to do at this show. The dog does exactly what he says he's going to do in the ring. This guy walks in the ring at National, stops and takes pictures, stops the whole show himself. So if y'all questioning how much influence this cat has over this registry that y'all don't believe what I'm telling y'all, believe this. So I'm just giving y'all examples. Now, you know, you want to take it a step further. The individual who's very, very wealthy that paid $500,000 to $600,000 for Magoo. I always say $500,000 to $600,000 because that's always debatable. But he paid that money, you know, Mr. Nambai. And if I mess up his name, I apologize. I mess up everybody's name, so please don't beat me down for that, brother, please. But I tell you what, he went on a mission to prove how much of a fraud Bashar was. He did multiple DNA testing. He got different dogs that were supposed to be off Magoo. He tested them versus Magoo. Dog after dog after dog after dog was coming back. It wasn't the dog. So he calls the ABKC and he says, yo, what about all these dogs that, you know, is Bashar going to get suspended, banned? Because it's obvious it's a pattern here, you know, but it was a key to this, you know. The ABKC said, oh, no, hold on. Our result says that those are his dogs. And, you know, Mr. Nambai came back and said, well, guess what? I use the same lab that y'all use. And they said, oh, no, it has to go through us. See y'all people how the game got played? So he can use the same lab that y'all use, and they send him the same results. But when it comes through y'all basically saying, we only take our word. Let me see the results then. No, we can't show anybody's results. So now you got the ABKC covering up for the fact that this dude was DNA hanging papers all over the place. You know, you got the young puppies. You know, you got the videos that come out of dead dogs all over his place. You know what I mean? Slimy, coccidia, disgusting cages. I mean, just everything all over the videos was terrible. Y'all seen some of it on this page. It's actually more to it than that. It was just disgusting. And this wasn't the first time that this happened. No suspension, no nothing. Imagine that. Imagine that. No nothing. So I told y'all this a while ago. Dave now somehow, I don't know, he said he was in retirement. I don't know what the hell, but he's coming out of retirement. He's pushing more of the Bashar extreme type dogs. He's already pushing the Bashar stuff. The muscle tone dogs was all over this place. Bashar bought that shit out and paid Dave's debt. You know, got the folks up off of Dave's ass, is what the word in the streets is. And pretty much Dave been on his soul ever since. That's why Bashar is untouchable in that registry. That's why you can't make a complaint against Bashar. You can't file a DNA test motion against Bashar. He can have everything that's in their rule book that's going on, get caught red-handed, and they won't do a damn thing to him because the man owns the registry. So when the man who has made millions of dollars off of a certain type of dog is owner of a registry or part owner of a registry, is well invested, excuse me, with the face that says he's the owner of the registry, well invested. They travel together, they buddies. You know what I mean? Dave selling his dogs, all these different things. He done took care of Dave. Y'all knew that registry was gonna change. Y'all knew it. It had to change. That ain't the ABKC that we started. That's the American Bashar Kennel Club. Dave don't run that shit no more. Dave is in so many different levels, tied to so many different people, owing so many people, whether it's on them his ass, or on them, you know what I mean, different circumstances, different favors, that he had to do this. Trust me, Dave don't even like them dogs. Dave ain't never liked that look of dog. He ain't never liked none of that. But they own him now. This is why for years the ABKC has allowed those type of dogs. When the influx started, they had to keep on doing it. They had to, because they was tied to certain people. Right before the blow up with Cruz denounced that shit and said, we got to clean this registry up. It's about to, you know, all this shit about to get fixed. Dave made sure that didn't happen. I don't even, you know, and that would be me being presumptuous, but I don't even know maybe while Cruz was still in the registry, Dave was messing around with Bashar and already setting up his backhanded plan to screw the man out of the registry. When I tell y'all Dave done did a lot of shiesty shit, man, I wouldn't come on here and tell y'all. Now, yes, some of this I've heard, but let me just say, a good 75% of this, I heard from the horse's mouth. And I was there on a lot of other things. I've got great sources. All that y'all talk about, y'all worried about getting clean dogs and all that shit, that's not what they're worried about. This shit is owned by a different entity now. Right now, they in the mode of let's push this bitch as far as we can, get as much money out of it as we can, and blow the thing up, because it ain't going nowhere. We gonna push it to as far as we can push it, sell as many dogs as we can sell, and hopefully we have enough that at the end we can find a sucker to buy it out, and we can go retire. Dave done already tried to sell the ABKC. And Dave, if you want to dispute that, dispute it. You can lie to me if you want to. But what you told me yourself, you met with the owner of the BBCR. I won't say his name, but y'all know who he is. You met with him in Florida about offers being made for the ABKC way back then. Fernando got in his ear and told him, don't waste your time or your money on that bullshit. Don't y'all let these people jump in front of screens and tell y'all that this is about dogs. Ain't none of this shit about dogs. It's been about money ever since Dave really got his hands back on this shit. It wasn't about no dogs. It ain't about no pride of the breed. This is why you see the things that's going on in the ring. This is why you see all the things that's going on all over the American bully community. This is why you see the refusal to have DNA testing. This is why you see the refusal to have anything else going on. I'm just giving y'all the information, man. Hopefully y'all take it for what it is. Hopefully y'all stop taking them people so serious. Open up your eyes and see, if you are here to breed clean, functional, nice dogs, that shit ain't for you. It's a whole different game going on over there. If you got muscle tone dogs, if you got some Roccos, if you got any of that extreme stuff, that's the registry for you. If you got Merles, that's the registry for you. You got Miyagi, ABKC for you. If you got Bullseye, ABKC for you. If you got squirrels that can sell for $10,000, the ABKC is for you. But American bully people who looking for good, clean, healthy dogs, that old school thing, that's a real dog, a real functionable pit bull on steroids type of animal, it ain't for you, baby. I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you differently, but it ain't for you. Man, until next time, much love, y'all. Peace.